From the Wayne County Courthouse in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne Goldsboro Television brings you the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. The meeting begins shortly with an agenda briefing, then the regular meeting will begin soon after. Please stand by for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Good morning. Hello. Thanks for talking back to me this morning. I am glad to be back, and I appreciate Mr. Gurley stepping in for me for the last meeting. I did watch y'all on TV, and I thought y'all carried on pretty well. One thing I did notice from watching it at home, and I understand why Wayne Alley's always complaining, we really need to stick in these mics because you can barely hear us. So keep that in mind. Sorry, Wayne.
Let's slide them up.
I think that's why those mics have been slid up.
I really couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear anything more than Parker said. I think he did it by design. I'm not sure. Let's see what we got going this morning. We'll have Mr. Gurley got an invocation today. Marty's got the pledge. And I'm sure everybody's read the minutes and the agenda. Any adjustments on that, Mr. Wood?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Any commissioner got anything they want to put on there?
Don't forget that you're gonna reconvene the,
Yeah.
at the very first.
What did I do with that? Yeah, Alan's already got it covered.
So that comes before the other stuff.
Huh? Yeah. That comes at 8:30, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We got employee service pins, and then we'll be giving the plaque to Miss Whitfield for her 30 years. And I guess we'll all just come on down with
Right.
for that. Public comments at 9:05, and then we'll have that public hearing for the finances. Are you going to? Might be. Sure.
You also make that portion of that, almost half of that, would actually be for school construction, and those repayment dollars are really coming from taxes or revenues generated specifically for that purpose.
Right.
A lot of people don't recognize that, but I
Okay.
think if you'd stress that, I'd
Okay,
appreciate it.
we'll do it. And I'm gonna bring the whole list. I'll go through the whole list.
I appreciate it if you could do that. All right, then after that, we'll go to unfinished business, and we're going to advertise a proposal to build a 50,000 square foot shell building. What does it say on that?
You want me to go over it now? You want to wait?
You touch on it.
Okay. Well, you have a letter from Bob Carnegie, who's the chairman of WCDA. They have recommended that you do this, either a 50 or a 60,000. Well, it would be a 50,000 square foot building. They want to do an alternate size of 60 just to see what it would cost to do extra. This would be on Lot 8 at the Park East Industrial Park. And you remember Lot 8 is the one where we're building it up for the foundation, the soil. Back behind that, you have a map of the area that shows exactly how it would be laid out on the lot. This would be expandable to 100,000 square feet, so it's laid out for that. The next page shows the cost. It would be the option B. It's metal with insulated walls. It shows you what all else is in it. I'm not going to read through all of that. The total's about 1.6 million. With architect fees and everything, it could go higher than that, although typically those architect fees are built into this. The way we would bid this is we would do proposals. Because a metal building, we would go through that and they will give you the design on the building to meet the criteria we've put in here. Okay.
And by and large, we already have the revenue saved from the sale of the building in my office.
Yes, I was going to go into the details of that later.
Okay.
But, yeah, we'll be talking about the CDBG loan
Right.
on that.
Could I make that motion?
Yes, sure.
And I have one question on that, if I could,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. Are we going to have to amend those restrictive covenants for this building?
It will depend on exactly what the building's gonna look like. I think that they are probably will not, but I'll be glad to get with Crystal when it gets closer.
Well, since we're going to authorize him to go ahead and start the process, we might want to look into that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and number 2 on that is the advertise for bids for Canterbury Village and North Creek.
Yeah, I've given you some excerpts from the bid package. As you can see from the table of contents, they're pretty large. I think it was 45 pages or so. But then I've given you a cross-section of what the road will look like. And so we're ready to go forward with that. Just a reminder, the only people who can bid on this have to be NCDOT certified companies that they've approved for paving. And we have, have some lists from that, so we'll be going forward with that.
Mr. Mayor, you want to make that motion?
Yeah. I'm sure he does.
Well, while we're talking about the streets out there, if any of you have not been out and gone down April Lane on the other end that's not involved in this and see what the residents has done on their own, you need to ride out there and look at it. Thank you.
I agree with you. The citizens out there got together, they raised the funds, they went in there and did the repairs to the roads.
And
And they've done a great job.
they didn't just patch holes. Where it was messed up, they took the whole street up and put the right foundation down and then put the asphalt.
And my understanding of that was less than 20,000,
Less than 6,000.
less than 6,000. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was trying to shoot high.
Well, I'm shooting straight.
That were 2 major potholes, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I understood. So don't let that throw you, because even all of that case is temporary, and still, the bottom line is that subdivision is still responsible for the roads. Going the route that we're going with now, when DOT takes them over, they won't have to worry about those roads from now on. So there's advantages and disadvantages both ways.
On the consent agenda, we got the present use values, and I assume Mr. Lincoln's got that into the right.
That's in there. Things that we want.
Go ahead.
The 4 and 4 needs to be 16, and to reappropriate those in the current year. Then for the sheriff's office, $4,400.99. This is to appropriate monies for insurance reimbursements received for the sheriff's office. For the sheriff's office, $10,000, and this is monies that are being reallocated from one of their existing line items to non-capital furniture and equipment, and it's to replace a camera and then purchase another camera for the license plate readers that they have out on the roads. And then finally for East Point, $14,000. This was funds that were not spent at June 30, and we found it recently, so we need to reappropriate those to the current year and get that paid out to them. And that's actually all I have today.
Okay. After that, we got a resolution supporting the state funding of the CPA cop birthplace.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we pull number 3 until after the board have a discussion on that. In my opinion, there's a lot of undesirable history concerning that Charles B. Acock. And I just don't want to see us, matter of fact, I don't even think we should be involved in that, no way, as a board of commissioners. Now, I won't go into detail, and I think all the commissioners should, on their own, read the history of this, and you will see why I'm making these comments.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I oppose what Mr. Bell just said. Is
Mr.
most of y'all,
Acock.
I'm talking right now.
No, you're not. You cut that on me. I'm not through talking.
Let him finish. Mr.
You need to
Acock.
learn to, Mr. Acock, you does this a lot. You need to wait until the commissioner, I have a right to speak.
Well, then speak.
And don't cut me off no more, okay?
Speak.
You're not the chairman. Okay?
I'm an ACOP.
I don't care if you are. I'm a Bell.
All right.
So what difference does that make?
Well, go ahead and say what you got to say.
There's a lot of undesirable history there. The things that Governor Acock did to the black community is a disgrace. And if it happened to you as a white man from a black person, you wouldn't be sitting there pushing for that. I didn't want to go that way, but you forced me to do it. I asked you to read the history, and you'll understand why. That's just like me going to somebody that have a hanging noose, and I'm going to praise him after he build a hangsman noose. I think that's what, we have feelings too, Mr. Acock.
You through?
Yeah, I'm through.
Mr. Chairman? I think if you read this resolution, nowhere in there does it say anything about race. This is all about preserving a state park. It's got nothing to do with race. This is to help educate children on the way that people live back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. In this resolution, there is absolutely nothing about race. Did Charles B. Aycock do some things wrong? Probably. In his lifetime at that time? Probably did for the day's standards. But 100 years from now, they can look back on Wayne Aycock and John Bell and everybody else on this board and say, why were them fools doing things like that? Times have changed. Did he make mistakes? Certainly. But everybody sitting on this board has made a mistake. And like I said, in that resolution, it says not one thing about race or what he did as governor. All that resolution is to help get the funds to maintain a state park that is used by the school children and the citizens of eastern North Carolina. Thank you.
Then, Mr. Chairman, I asked Mr. Aycock to redo the resolution and put in there the total history of Governor Aycock. Don't mislead the kids into thinking that he was a goody two-shoe when he wasn't. I mean, you're not telling the truth about what Governor Aycock did back during those days. Read the whole history, and then I will even consider voting for it. But if you're going to manipulate the resolution to make it look like Governor Aycock was one of the best governors that ever lived, and teaching the children or misleading the children, that's what you're doing. Tell the whole cotton picking story about Governor Aycock to the children, as you say.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I know Mr. Bell has already made a motion to
Well,
remove.
we're not even in.
Well,
Anytime that somebody objects to something being consent, you just move it to another.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. That would probably come under new business then.
Yes.
Let's make that number 5 under new business.
Mr. Chairman, when you do move it from consent agenda to number 5 under new business,
Yes.
or number 6 under new business.
Well, I was gonna make it 5 and leave the video last for 6.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
When that does come up, I'll make the motion that we pull it.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that Mr. Aycock tell the whole story about Governor Aycock when we move it to numbers unfinished business. And let everybody know why he's putting it on that, why we, as a Board of Commissioners, are voting for this.
I think if he even restates what he said, we probably would do that. And I understand your objections. Okay, then we're moving on to number 4. We've got a motion to approve sale surplus property owned by the city and the county.
This is a normal request. We've looked at it. It's only 50 feet wide, as you can see from the diagram. It's 50.77 feet in the back, 60 feet in the front. And we have no use for it, so we recommend that you sell it.
Anybody have an issue with that? Okay. And page 30, we've got a resolution here for proclamation of Small Business Week. Is somebody going to read that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Kate Daniels should be here.
Oh, okay. And then for the National Day of Prayer, we have someone as well for that.
Yes, you'll have 2 representatives here for that.
Okay. And let's see here, Planters Ridge. You want to come on up and go ahead and tell us that? Go ahead and do it, man, that way we got plenty of time. And I won't make you come back over.
It's a preliminary plat for Planters Ridge subdivision. J&N Developers is the owner. Dan Butler is the surveyor. Brian Jones is the engineer. 79 lots proposed. As in the ordinance requires that all preliminary plats come before the Board of Commissioners for approval. This is a revision of an original preliminary that was approved by the county in 1992. It's been through a couple different developers since then, before J&N. And now they have adjusted the layout, the street configuration. They reduced the number of lots, and they're developing it a little bit differently with some open space requirements. It is 79 residential building lots, 1 permanently protected open space area, and the extension of 1 existing street and 2 new streets. It will be built on 62 acres off Wayne Memorial Drive, just about 600 feet east of this intersection with Artish Road. There are no zoning, no map flood zones. Average lot size is just a little under 20,000 square feet or half acre. There are 0.98 miles of new streets required to be installed. Building lots will utilize public water and on-site sewer. There is a 19.6 acre permanently protected open space lot that will be dedicated to the homeowners association. This is within the Charles B. Aycock, Norwayne Middle, Northeast primary school districts. It's serviced by East Wayne Sanitary, Sawston Fire Department, and EMS Station 5. It is within the Goldsboro NPO for transportation planning. It is not within a water supply watershed. I've got yes, but it's not within a watershed. There is a voluntary ag district present, there are wetlands present, and it is in Board of Commissioners District 5. This went before the Wayne County Planning Board, and they recommended that the plat be approved.
When we get there.
A couple of maps attached to the subdivision, and you can see the open space area and the new streets. And then also there's an aerial attached as well that shows the location.
Any questions on that? If not, I'll make the motion when we get into open sessions. It's right in my backyard. Thank you, Chip.
Yes, sir.
We got a motion to approve reallocation of funds to Wayne Community College and appropriate budget amendment goes along with that.
Right, on page 37, you've got a memo from Joy Carnegie with Wayne Community College to Allison. Basically, I think it lays it out pretty well. We held the $145,000 in their capital budget in reserve until Dr. Walker arrived. We weren't 100% sure we wanted to go ahead with this grounds maintenance storage building and wanted to wait on that. I've given you on the next page, page 38, you see that in yellow. This is a page out of the budget, and it shows the $145,000 put in capital outlay, but we reserved it. So what they're saying now is that they've been trying to build renovate for a more functional nursing simulation lab. So the project has gotten bigger, and so they want to use this money for the nursing lab, which of course is instructional, instead of just for a storage building. So we felt like this is a reasonable request. In my mind, it's a better use of the money, so we're recommending approval of that. We just need you to vote to approve them to reallocate that money.
Who'd like to make that motion?
I will.
And we need to add, when you do, Ray, we need to add the attendant budget amendment. She's got that in the back as well.
That was Ed.
Who's making that?
Oh,
I think
I'm sorry.
Ed.
It was
Yeah,
Ed.
you got it.
I'm sorry.
Well, you
I
confused
wasn't
me.
looking up. I thought it was right.
Ed's making
We sound almost alike.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Okay. So that's it. And
I was writing Ed, then I was gonna say, get me in trouble. And then finally, we'll see the county update video, and then we'll have county manager comments, and then board commissioner reports. And we do need a closed session.
we do need a closed session.
I don't know if we got time between now and 8:30 though.
We can cover a couple of them.
Yeah, I can. We can't start this a little later.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. You can't do a lot in 5
No,
minutes.
we'll just wait.
Well, do you have to reconvene that at 8:30?
Cannot be before.
Cannot be before, really?
We need to take a break, don't we?
Evidently.
Be back here by 8:30.
Be back.